Welcome to Implausible Nature, your home for all things Black Templar. On today's video, we've got 5 hot takes for you. The Codex information is all out there now. The release date has dropped. So people have been talking. The internet is abuzz with talking about Black Templars. And honestly, we've discovered there's a fair amount of negativity from the community around certain subjects. And Bob and I are both really high on this codex. We feel like this is a great boon for us. And so we're going to talk about 5 things that we have heard on the internet that we want to sort of settle everyone down on. So, number 1, we don't need extreme mobility to win games. So obviously we all know we lost advance and charge, and it was sort of a one-shot thing, cruise missile, fire across the board as fast as possible with a Vanguard unit or something like that. And we were building entire lists around it, and it was really a crutch for us for winning games to get that first strike in on turn 1 and try to cripple our opponent's army. But we don't need that to win games. Bob, tell us a little bit why.
All right. So one of the things that I want to really kind of stress, and many of you heard and saw this on our Discord, it's been talked about quite a bit. I've been advocating it quite a bit throughout this time, but the supplement needs to age like a fine wine, right? We all need to settle down, kind of take it in a little bit, look at all the combos that are out there, and kind of build from there. Obviously, we have the obvious things like Devout Push, which we'll get to soon, and we're not able to do Emperor's Will with the advance and charge and such. Those are the obvious things, but we don't need that mobility as much as we need. So it's about adapting. Board presence is huge in 9th edition. It's about getting to those objectives. I've talked about the 3 tenets of list building many times. So we have some videos, and we're going to get started on those here pretty soon. But 3 things that we need, and you need at least 2 of them in your list. So that is going to be fast, durability, and the ability to kill things, right? So a lot of our items lost the threat range and the potential for being fast in the Emperor's Will with that, but we gained the durability of Uphold in our vow. So we have 5 pluses that we now can take across the board in all of our armies, whether it be vehicles, dreadnoughts, infantry, and if you already had storm shields, now you get a mini transhuman as well. So you gain that durability. You can
feel no pain.
Yep, exactly. And you get Grimaldus, feel no pain, and obviously you can still use your Litany of Divine Protection still, as well as the Apothecary. So we have the massively more durable than we were before. We were relying on storm shields to keep us alive previously to iffy effect sometimes. Talk about Drukhari or Admech. You're still not able to really leverage that. But now with a combination of, even though it's a little bit less strong with that 5+, you get that mini transhuman to combine with that, and it's across the board is huge. Now that allows you to get your units to different places across the board that you weren't able to before. Whereas, maybe you have this unit that flashes across the board, your Vanguard veterans get into close combat, kills something, then dies. Because ultimately that's what's going to happen. They're going to get shot after they kill whatever they kill. Or if you're playing a little bit cagey, you bump them out after they get a little bit too close to the objectives. I get it. It's great to have advanced charge, but there's tricks that you can also have. That same Vanguard veteran squad, if you're facing a Zerker, which is pretty common that you face an army that has at least one.
Just one witch.
Likely a character.
Yep.
Just one. Just take you're likely going to be an Uphold, but you have either Grimaldus or another chaplain take Fervent Acclamation.
And you can buff that one.
Use it on
one important unit like a Vanguard squad because it goes
Yep.
off in your command phase. You get to use it in your first turn, so it'll be active. That Vanguard Veteran Squad now is 15-inch move. Most no man's lands are not, are 24 inches at the most. Some of them are even shorter than that. So, 15-inch move and then re-rolling charges gives you a good shot still for a first turn charge. So yeah, and it's
Yep.
not like we've lost all mobility. We haven't. We still re-roll advances. Grimaldus now gives a buff to advances D3 plus 3, advance instead of D6, which is great. Especially that first turn when we're trying to push out to get to the center of the board to control it for Osa moment and whatever else. Get that engage on all fronts, that extra couple inches. And, we've talked about this before. It's a game of inches. Those extra couple inches that Grimaldus will give you, you're probably going to be averaging 5 or 6 advance rolls on that first turn, especially when everyone's clustered up. It's a 6-inch aura, which is great. And it's from the unit. Note that Grimaldus's auras are from the unit, the 2 servitor ones, not from the servitor holding the relic, from the unit. So that can be a pretty big thing if you spread his servitors out. Um, you know, and You can even do things like Emperor's Will is still a good strat. Yes, it lost advance and charge, but now you can fire rapid fire of weapons and assault weapons at no penalty when you advance. So march those Centurions out there and rapid fire all their guns at no minus, advancing. Now they don't get Grimaldus's buff because they're not core, but still a D6 rerollable advance roll, and you can still shoot. So yeah, um, there's still ways to move quickly around the board, which kind of brings us to our
Yep.
next one, Devout Push. Devout Push is still a great stratagem. Is it, you know, game breakingly awesome? No. But it is still extremely powerful movement tool. A couple things to note with this is it was changed from infantry to just core, which means you can devout push a dreadnought, which is pretty powerful. It also
Yep.
changed from being towards the closest enemy unit to towards the closest enemy unit or the closest objective. Now, we could sort of do this before, where we could sort of cagily be like, yes, I move a 1 millimeter closer to you while I sidle on over to this objective. But we don't have to do that anymore. We can just go right for it. Or if we were sitting on an objective, we can play peekaboo around a corner to shoot at something and then get back up behind cover. So a lot of ways to really use this. It doesn't combo with Canticles of Hate anymore, which is fine. Means we don't need to really necessarily worry about that vow as much. It's still 3 inches of free movement in the direction that we generally want to go towards an objective or towards the enemy in both turns. So Devout Push, still a great stratagem. What do you think, Bob?
Yeah, I agree. Everything you said is spot on. 3 inches for strategic things is huge. Before it was taking your units and using it offensively to get into combat, which we don't have that capability. Great, we still have other
Mm-hmm.
things. Opponents turn, drop right there onto their objectives, so you can claim them in your next
Yeah.
command phase. So that's a great tool. You can also use it to be very cagey with your a unit like Hellblasters, right? You jump them out of your impulsor, take a shot,
Jump back in.
jump
Because
jump
so
right
now
back
some of
in.
you may be saying, well, how do you do that? It's because it's a normal move. GW made it, and that's how they changed it so that you can't pile into combat because it was a pile in move, which allows you to make contact with enemies. Now it is a normal move. If you end your normal move within embark distance to a transport, you can jump back in. The transport restrictions for disembarking and embarking are only in the same phase, not the same turn. so you could still do that. I used it the other day. I got a game in earlier this week, and I used it towards the end of the game. I was trying to prevent my opponent from capturing or from holding more objectives than me, and I devout pushed some assault intercessors to be within range of an objective he was holding, and I took it from him, and he didn't score those points in the next round. So huge implications for it. Still, you can still use it as a powerful movement tool. No, you can't faux charge with it anymore, but that's okay. I don't think we need to lean on it for that anymore.
Yep.
All right, so
Yep.
that brings us to number 3. There is more than one vow. Uphold the honor of the emperor. There are 3 other vows, 2 that are really worth taking. So I know everyone's reaction to the vows are, well, Uphold's the only one we're going to take. The others all are terrible comparatively. And yes, Uphold is probably, the clear winner. As if you had to pick only one, you'd probably pick that one, just because it is a powerful durability buff, and you need durability to stay on objectives and win games. But don't discount the others. Accept Any Challenge and Suffer Not are both good vows, good offensive vows, and if you are running a Storm Shield heavy list like we used to with Terminators and Vanguard veterans and Blade Guard veterans, and you want to run that elite style, heavy Storm Shield list, Suffer Not, or excuse me, Uphold isn't going to help you as much with those lists. So pick a different vow that's more offensive. Both of them are very good. Abhor the Witch, we're probably just going to use situationally, like you mentioned, cast it on a unit to get that extra 3-inch buff with a litany instead. I think that's going to be its main use. But those other 2 are worth taking.
Yeah, absolutely. While you said, if you're already stacking on your Storm Shields, utilizing a list that's very similar to what we were currently using right now, pre-supplement, Suffer probably would be a great choice for you. I'm a little bit higher on that one than I am on the Accept Any Challenge, due to not being able to fall back, and that can be situationally not a good play in a competitive environment. And quite honestly, your opponent can take advantage of that. Getting bumper card by something stupid like a Raider, and not even able to fall back is going to be hurting. But yeah, you can lean into Suffer Not and get those, what essentially is Knights of Sigismund right away off the
better
cuff
version
of the
of
game.
it. A better version, because
Yep.
it's all the time. It's not just on the charge. It's not just when you're charged. It's every single round of combat against non-vehicles. You auto wound on 6s. So it was vastly improved over the Knights of Sigismund. And just to bring up a point about that vow, where there's been a lot of discussion on that vow about the restriction, the passion for it, and how that works. Just to clarify for everyone, if there is an unengaged enemy unit within 12 inches, then you are required, and you want to declare a charge. You're not required to charge. Only if you select your unit as someone who wants to charge. The unengaged unit, the closest unengaged unit, has to be a target, not the only target, a target of your charge. 9 times out of 10, we want to get as close as we can to the unit that we want to charge anyway, because we want to avoid, dice folly of, missing a charge. So we want to make sure that we're as close as we can, so that way we guarantee that charge. So if there's no unengaged units within 12 inches of you, then you're free to charge whoever you want. So just a point of clarity on that. So that brings us to number 4. Sword Brethren are a good unit. This has been a sticking point for me. A lot of people are down on Sword Brethren, and I really like this unit. I think it is it's not like, an S tier unit, but it is a good unit. It has a lot of versatility. It has a lot of flexibility in how you want to use it. There's some really great things you can do with it. First of all, there's no sergeant, so they're all sword brethren. So you do miss out on that one extra attack, which, that's a little bit of a downer, but it's made up for by the fact that if you're going to take 10 of them, there is basically no reason to not put them all in one squad and get those double Thunderhammers and double Lightning Claws and then probably Power Swords on the rest. And then you can combat squad them however you want, or not. You can keep them together. You can combat squad them. You can split them up evenly, just as if they were two squads. You can put all the Thunderhammers in one squad and all the Lightning Claws in the other, and really kind of maximize how you want to go about it. You can also do things like, because they're all sword brethren, you can give one the champion of the feast. You can give one a sword of judgment, and sort of really buff them up. And you can give another one a relic bearer. So there's a lot of things that you can do with this unit, and they ignore passions. That's huge. So if you have Uphold, which is great with them because they don't have an invulnerable save, you have Uphold, and they're sitting in cover. They're light cover. They're now a 2+5++. So it's almost like they have a combat shield in that case, which is great because they don't have to worry about it. They're gonna take a -1 to shoot at them because they ignore the passion. That's a really powerful mechanic, and I think people are overlooking that. So, Bob, tell me what you think.
Yep, I think there's a place for these in some lists. Mm-hmm. Now, are they the obvious choice over Blade Guard
They're not
Veteran
an auto
most
take.
lists?
They're not an auto take.
No, they're not an auto
take. They're a
take.
good unit worth considering, depending on what you're trying to do. So yeah, I really like them. I think people need to kind of, get their head out of the clouds, so to speak, as far as, well, they only can take, XYZ weapons. They're not like carte blanche like Vanguard vets. That's okay. I mean, they're cheap. 25 points for the Power Sword. That's a great
much
deal.
Cheaper than the Blade Guard.
Yeah.
And you can buff them with like Helbrecht, or I mean, even you could do Grimaldus if you really wanted to, if you wanted to be your combat squad.
Yep.
They have their place.
They have a unique stratagem as well. Exploding sixes. Very good.
And it's kind of a little bit of a fun squad. If you're going to combat squad them, I probably wouldn't invest in all of the extra stuff for them if you're only going to take the one squad, because your opponent will likely focus them down.
That happened to me.
Eliminate those.
I learned that lesson already. I took that.
Yeah, I gave him some advice beforehand. I'm like, keep them together if you're going to take all that stuff.
And I was like, no. I'm going to combat squad them. We're going to try it out. No, that didn't work out. So yeah, if you are going to separate those things out, definitely keep them together as a squad. But you don't have to give them those things either. They're perfectly fine without it. They have good damage output. They can tackle multiple targets because they have high strength weapons. They have re-rollable lots of attacks. They got high AP stuff. So they're really a Swiss Army knife, in my opinion. So don't be down on Sword Brethren. All right. And that brings us to our last hot take, which is, we are not a melee army, as said by John Lennon. So John Lennon and many other people. So if you don't know, John Lennon is a great top tournament player in the world. He plays Space Marines, mainly White Scars, but among other, he has played other armies as well. And he recently had an article on Goonhammer and was on another YouTube channel. And if you read the article, he says, well, we're not a melee army. And then he goes on to talk about how, if you run pure melee, you're going to have a bad time, and that you need to focus on board control and on scoring objectives and having fire support. And Bob's laughing because, this is something we have preached on this channel from day one, is board control and fire support. You got to have it. You can't, there are no pure melee armies. Nids, orcs, they're the traditional melee armies. They're not running, they have shooting too. All melee armies have shooting. You have to have shooting. You have to run a balanced list. Yes, you maybe run an extra melee or two units that another army might not. Sure, but you're still going to have that fire support. So yeah, that's the point that John Lennon was trying to make. Not that it doesn't mean that we're terrible in melee. That's not what he means.
No. And I feel like this is the biggest one of the biggest hot takes that we have in the supplement is, oh, so what are we supposed to do now? It's we're slow and now we're not a melee. What do we got? Now we're
Right.
just shooty army? No.
Yeah. No.
Back up. Back up.
Yeah.
I know Art of War is talking about us being a shooty army. I get it. They don't play Black Templars actively. John Lennon picked them up to play, obviously, because of the new thing. Jack Harpster played them towards the end of the supplement, placed decently well with them, but he hasn't been playing them for a year and a half like we have.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. We have, in the new supplement, very targeted, very buffable units that can do a ton of damage.
Yeah.
Either by litanies, stratagems, or just by strength of their datasheet.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine, for a moment, we have a lot of different things. A cool mechanic called relic berries, where we can do all kinds of things with our units. We have stratagems that can make super sergeants. We have relics that are really strong. So a unit, this may not turn out to be competitive, but it's just something to show an example of the different things we can do. We have our 20-man Premier Crusader squad, right?
Black Tide.
Yep. Black Tide, right? So, the natural thought is to make them as close combat as possible because you want them, to cut and smash, and that's what we do, right? We want a couple of close combat things. So you're going to take your 4 power fists. Your sword brethren is going to take your sword anyway. So he's got another.
You gotta have it,
right?
It's a required item, yeah. That or an axe.
And then you
take the sword.
Yeah, and then you can take all of your really, you can choose either of them, chain swords or your auto bolt guns or what have you for the rest of them. It really doesn't matter. And then maybe you have Grimaldus or Helbrick chaining right behind him, giving buffs to that unit. So your opponent has to kill literally 15 guys to get to
those 4
your mini Terminator squad.
Yeah. It's basically a Terminator squad. It's
in the middle.
Because they have the same number of base attacks, 2 attacks each, and they're power fists. And there's also a fancy relic for a relic bearer called the Fist of Balthus. And the Fist of Balthus, if you don't know, is a power fist that does not have a -1 to hit and is 3 damage. So yeah. So you can pop that on there, and it's 10 points. That's it, 10 points.
You can make them stupidly durable. You can,
yeah.
If those guys survive, even with any of the chain swords, they can chew through anything. Yeah. And that's just one thing.
It's a really durable squad. And here's the thing: is it's probably more durable than a Terminator squad, and it barely costs any more. A 20-man Crusader squad with 4 power fists is 400 points, 401, I think, just over 400 points. So that's really good. When you consider a Terminator squad is going to be 350-ish something points for like 8 or so of them. You have 20 guys, that's 40 wounds to go through. And with Uphold, they've got a 5-up invul. Can't be wounded on a better than a 3+. You can run Grimaldus with them, which I did recently to great effect, with a 6+ feel no pain. You have neophytes in there who are cheap wounds. They're a Primaris with a 4+. That's 3 points cheaper than a regular initiate. So they're very cost effective, and you got to shoot through 15 guys to kill a single power fist. That's hard to do. for just about any army, especially with the buffs that we can stack on them. And then if that unit hits something mostly intact, it's going to probably kill it. So, that's there. And it's a troops unit. So it has objectives secured, natively. So it's these are just some of the things that we can do. And are we going to run 3 of these? No, we're not. We're going to probably run 1 because they are a 400-point unit.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, we can do things in melee. We have strong melee options. But John's point is we are not going to be running all melee units. That's not viable. It never has been. Maybe like editions ago, but in 9th, it has never been viable to be all melee. You have to have some elements of fire support and shooting, and all the top lists do. So that's the takeaway from that. So don't try to remember that when you see people say things that sound really like clickbaity, and it's like, we're not a melee armor. What? How can you say that?
Throw the codex in the trash.
Just throw it out. No, that's not what's meant, and you have to just look at it from the perspective. And I mean, we weren't a melee army last with the Index either. We had a cruise missile option with Emperor's Will, and a cheese charge with Devout Push, and we based our entire thing around winning games by abusing those 2 mechanics. And we don't have to do that anymore. We have so many more options, so much more flexibility in our list style. I mean, we could be Centurions. I think more testing is required, but I think Centurions are back. I ran them in my game, and they were hilarious. How much firepower they soaked with a 5+ invulnerable save and the icon of Heinemann, ignoring AP 1 and 2, which was awesome. So, yes, it was your idea, but I had the same idea kind of at the same time.
Yeah, he was like, I want to make sense work, and I'm like,
right.
Let me make them work.
And Bob was like, and I made them work, and here's a list, and I was like, oh, I'm going to take that list and tweak it, and changed a few things, and it worked.
It was good fun.
It was great. It was great. So anyway, that's all we have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope we kept it kind of short for you. So let us know what you think down in the comments about some of these things the community has been talking about. Just remember, I know some of these are hot button issues for folks. Let's please be respectful in the comments of everyone else. Even if you disagree with us, that's fine. But we want your opinion anyway. So even if you disagree with us, in any case, we've got lots more stuff coming up soon here. And we want to thank our Patreons, as always, for supporting us. We can't do it without you guys. And also thank all of our YouTube viewers as well. Remember, we have a giveaway going on right now for the rest of this month. It ends at the end of October. So you still got time to join that giveaway, get a chance to win a brand new box set of the Templar launch box. To enter, all you have to do is subscribe, come to our Discord. The link is down in the description, and go to the giveaway channel and enter #giveaway to enter for your chance to win. So come check us out. We also have a really great community. We hope you'll stick around in the Discord. We have a really good community of folks striving to make Black Templars as good as we can be. So until next time, keep on crusading.